Hi, this is Abhimanyu. I'm chatting with Madhuri Dixit, Muskkaan Jaferi and Lakshvir Saran, the cast of the Fame Game. How are you guys?
All good.
Great.
Fantastic.
So, the series is coming up. We've all seen the trailer and it looks pretty intriguing. Same question to all of you. What drew you to the series? Starting with you, Madhuri.
Well, 2-3 things. It's Netflix, it's Sri Rao, and it's Dharma. I've worked with Netflix before. I have given the voice of Mowgli's mom for their Mowgli movie. I sold my first Marathi film that I made, 15 August, to Netflix. And so I had a great association with them. Secondly, Sri Rao approached me with this subject and I quite liked it. I loved the intrigue and I loved the fact that it was a thriller mystery with a lot of, family drama in it. And I love mysteries. So I thought it was a great subject and I liked my character and I liked the whole script in general. Also the idea of someone who's so famous, and she's popular and suddenly she just disappears. And what happens after that? I thought that was great. And also Dramatics was, producing it. And we had great directors like Bijoy and Karishma Kohli. And I thought it was a great fit for all of us. And so I said yes.
Muskkaan, same question for you.
It was just such an amazing opportunity in the first place. When I read my character sketch, when I got the audition, I was very intrigued by that itself. And I was really looking forward that I really want this part. And then when it happened, I was just so grateful. I mean, it's Netflix. I've already done Mismatched with Netflix, and I'm always excited about Netflix because I watch it also so much. And the fact that Dramatic is also producing it, and these wonderful people like Sri Rao, I mean, he's so dedicated. So I was just feeling very blessed, yeah.
It's slightly different for us because, it's not me saying, yeah, I'll do Fame Game.
Exactly.
It's Shri
That's
saying
what-
that, oh, yes, you can do this show or you can do this part. So,
The convincing happens the other way around for you guys.
Really
it's
did.
a little different, obviously. But in general, what a script. Yeah. I mean, I was so happy with the script when I got to read it. So it was nice that, oh, great, good opportunity, good first commercial setup show. I feel because all the work that I had done before this was in the independent space. So a very different kind of a work environment and everything else. Insane star cast. I mean, what else? Like a crazy experience. So
How big of a draw was that for the two of you, the person sitting next to you?
I mean, that's self-explanatory, to be honest.
Exactly.
But what was really nice is the fact that when I got to work, it was really about the work. Even when we were doing scenes with her, it was only about the scene and the characters. And I think that was so impressive for me to see because it was about nothing else but that. And I think if that is how someone takes their work, it's severely impressive. And I'm a great admirer, to be honest.
Madhuri, I was speaking to one of your former co-stars, Mithunda, a few days ago, and he made a very interesting point, and he's himself making his OTT debut for something else, and he said, I find this word streaming debut very funny because 40 years, 300 films. So do you find that funny as well? 35 years, so many films, and people are like, oh, aap debut kar rahe hain. Streaming debut.
It's strange and yes, it's true because there's so many avenues. And when you do it for the first time, you're debuting. And it's great that even after 35 years, I'm debuting with something, It's wonderful because I'm like a child. I'm like a student of cinema. I love learning. Every day I feel I wake up in the morning and I feel I'm going to learn something new today. So for me, it's a different language of making films. It's a different system, the way everything operates. I think it's different, to be on OTT. And so, yeah, it's okay.
Muskkaan, were you ever intimidated or starstruck by her on set, or was it?
Starstruck, definitely. But she's just such a warm human being, quite honestly, that I was never intimidated. I was starstruck for sure.
And how did you overcome that during the course of the shoot?
That happened at the reading itself. We had a table read where she just entered the room. I looked at her and there was this pause of, did this happen? Calm down. You have to go for the reading now. You have to do your role properly. Okay. And then I was fine. I mean, and ma'am was just so welcoming, quite honestly. We were sitting together and it was just fantastic. So then I was fine.
These two kids, so as to say, I can use the word, are from a completely different generation who have not grown on OTT but sort of have had OTT since their early 20s or teens. It's a very different setup. It's a very different audience. They, of course, learn a lot from you. What did you learn from the two of them?
Well, wonderful things. I mean, first of all, the freshness they get with them. Like Lakshvir, I mean, he's a very good actor. And I love the way he approached his scenes where he was not into, when newcomers come in, it's like, I'm the hero, that kind of. I think he's more of an actor. And the way he approached his roles, he used to prepare for it. And I thought that's so professional, and that was amazing to me, to be so early in the game and be so professional. And that's what really, I think kudos to you guys. You are so good. And even with Muskkaan, like, we talk about privacy and all, and we talk about, we want to become something and yet you want to be a very private person. And in today's frenzy of social media and everything, they even know what tea you drank in the morning and, those kind of things. And to have a generation who's grown up in that background where you know everything about everyone. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know she's Javed's sister. I didn't know all that when we were working. We were halfway through the series when I came to know who she is actually. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I want to be known as me, and that was amazing to me. So they both taught me a lot.
That's very impressive, Muskkaan, because people straight away go to that, your family. They'll go to your dad, they'll go to your brother, and how is the legacy, the pressure and everything. You try to stay away from that consciously. Is it because you don't want the baggage or the expectations, or is it because you just want you to be Muskkaan first?
No, actually, I've learned a lot from my father. He came from very, very humble beginnings, and I always looked up to that. And I wanted to do him proud, but I wanted to do it myself. And he always appreciated that. He said, okay, cool, do it yourself. So I looked up to him, so that's why I did it.
Stars have played stars on screen earlier. I thought of Shah Rukh's example, who played a star in Fan, in Billu, but it was almost always an exaggerated version of himself. Here, Anamika is very different from Madhuri. Was that sort of a clincher for you, that I am not playing myself even though I am playing an A-grade Bollywood star?
Exactly. I mean, I'm not playing myself. I did that in a film called The Haravi, where I'm Madhuri Dixit, who comes in Om Puri's dreams and all that, and so I'm playing myself. But here, it is a character I'm playing. It's not... Yes, the character has some experiences that I have, like with fame and popularity and being a big star and, all that. But what she is actually going through is very different from me, with her family and with everything that's going around her. So for me, it was a character that I was playing, which was amazing for me.
Lakshvir, you have a track which talks about self-harm, to a certain extent addiction. How did you approach that by making sure that's not cliche, that doesn't come across as something cliched or formulaic, but still impactful and effective?
I think first of all, you got to start by respecting the script, because it was well written, it was nuanced, and you have to recognize that. You have to recognize what scenes are the ones where you can explore a little or push the boundary a little. And when you've done that, then you... My intention wasn't to over-exaggerate anything. It was to just play what's already there. And sometimes when you're doing that, you tend to add something from your own experience or life. And, given the times that we've gone through last few years, I think it's so important to talk about mental health, loneliness, being caged inside, what it feels like. And I'm so happy that I was able to at least share some part of it in this show. And I hope it reaches out to people and people understand it and at least start a conversation, because if not, then what's the point of all of this? We all want to start a conversation about all of these issues. And thank you for Netflix and everything that we are able to achieve that, and we are able to at least bring that forward.
And achieve that in an entertaining show. It's not a documentary,
Right,
it's not a docudrama.
That's why I say it's so well written.
Yeah.
It's very cleverly written by Shri. And yeah, you're right.
Muskkaan, coming to you, there's a track of your character being overshadowed by a famous parent. Was that relatable?
No. Quite honestly, no. Because my dad was just my dad at home. And like I always admired him a lot, that he is a different kind of an artist. I'm going to be a different kind of an artist, and he instilled that in me. He always said, beta, compare kabhi mat karna किसी से भी, ना मुझसे ना किसी और से. सबका अपना अपना होता है, सबका अपना एक पन होता है. तुम अपनी चीज़ पर फोकस करो, उस पर ध्यान करो. So I mean, I was never felt that. I was like, मेरी अपनी journey होगी, वो मैं.
Wonderful advice. Madhuri, coming to you, you said there are a lot of differences between you and Anamika. What are the similarities?
I think the similarities are limited to who she is in the public eye. Like, she's this big diva, or she's a very popular actress and people love her, and she is a big star, and that's about it. I mean, that's where our similarities end.
I think another similarity would be the dislike of the word comeback for you both.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah, because I don't get the point of Madhuri's making a comeback. Every 2 years I hear that, and still Madhuri is always in the public eye. Comeback to kahin hoga when you go away, and that happened for a few years after Devdas, between Aja Na Chale. But since then you've been here.
Yes.
You've been doing Marathi, you've been doing cinema, you've been doing everything. So what do you think of when a person like me, another journalist, asks you, how is this comeback, Madhuri? what goes through your mind?
That was such a clever
Well,
setup.
I'm trying to think of a clever comeback, but right now I cannot. And that's usually what happens. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm always here, and I've always been working and, in the public eye. So a comeback is, it's crazy. But that's what they do. And what can you do?
I'll wrap it up with a final question to you. That you are reuniting with Sanjay on screen after such a long time. And you both had such a memorable outing in that was like years ago. I was a kid. I'll just tell you that. And did the equation change? Were you like, oh my God, so many years have passed? Or did you just take off from where you left?
Yeah, we take off from where we left, because I know Sanjay, I know his family, I know Anil, I know Boni ji, I know everyone. And when I did Raja, and then after that I did Mohabbat with Sanjay, and then of course we lost contact a little bit because I got married and I settled down in the US and I came back. But with everyone I've worked with, we just pick up from where we had left off. And for me, it was not hard at all to go back to, but it was amazing to see, because when we did Raja, he was pretty new. It is one of his first few films that he had done. And now to see him, he's done a lot of work after that. And now to see what kind of an actor he's become is amazing, and how much he's grown. And that was just fantastic for me to see.
So thank you. Lovely chatting to you. And hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Thank you.
guys.
Nice
Thank you so
meeting you.
much.